Ilimit kay gurutan, lengget bontok kan ipugaw.
Lagipan tayo sa ama ang mangatam, ama duminang, Kenbiswiran.
We have lost so many martyrs.
Naging Philippine Army, April 24, 1980.
Henry Dumondon Apayaw, si Danilo Tisano sa Kalingari, Marcelo Paquilang, Pedro Dongok sa Kalinga, si William Henry Scott, Amerikano ito.
Gindoyo Bimong Abong, si R. Samuel Ben Andoy Kinatumapay.
Daniel Ngayaan, Romy Gardo, Salaria, Salino Lindas,
Ipon Tayumot, Gilbert Dalang, ni Atty. Arthur Galate.
Dr. Jerry Sabala Cayambas sa Mountain Province, Herminia Pugong sa Ifugao, Ernesto Lakbaw, Roger Duldulao, Baguio City, Ray Bonguen, Ferdinand Bragas, Robert Estimada, si Martin Taming,
and the many others who have remained unnamed, but are nevertheless close to our hearts.
last but not least, Makliing Dulag. 1980. It was April 24.
The Umili of Bugnay, Kalinga, woke abruptly to a still, foggy night. They knew what was coming. They had not yielded in their struggle against the Chico Dam. For months, soldiers had been barging in homes, looting and ransacking and burning. And still, they intensified their opposition. Villagers came home beaten or jailed. Many did not return alive. 1980. It was April 24th. Soldiers fired at Pedro Dungok and killed Makliing Dulag. They were both Pangats, leading their people, uniting other Umili in Bontoc and Kalinga, even drawing support from the Umili of the Philippines and Umili of the world. Until now, there is no Chico Dam.
So from there, years after that, there had been commemorations year by year of his death.
Umilit Cordillera.
On April 24th, 1981, the first Makliing Memorial was held in his hometown in Bugnay, Tinglayan, Kalinga. The participants denounced the intensifying militarization in practically all areas of the Cordillera where the Umili were engaged in active defense. As if to prove them right, the next year's commemoration in Bangad, Tinglayan, Kalinga was cancelled due to militarization.
When we arrived in the place for the commemoration, there were military there. They succeeded in disrupting it, so it was cancelled.
April 24th, 1983, was celebrated in Betuangan, Sadanga Mountain Province. The year after that, in Basao, Tinglayan, Kalinga. Then, in 1985, a year after the Cordillera People's Alliance, or CPA, was formally organized, the Makliing Memorial became known as Cordillera Day. The term Cordillera then was said to be only used by subversives. Now, it is equivalent to indigenous pride.
We thought from a simple commemoration of Makliing Dulag's death, to make it more comprehensive and include other important matters to observe and important things to continue on doing in support and along with our struggle in the Cordillera.
Let us remember that the celebration of Cordillera Day is not just a commemoration of the death of our martyrs, but rather it is also an affirmation of our commitment to continue the struggle. Because in continuing what they have started, we are actually paying them the greatest tribute that we can pay them.
In the late 70s, 250 Kalinga men, women, and children tore down the highly militarized work camps of the National Power Corporation. They did not want any dam. In a silent protest march, all through the night, all through those dangerous curfew hours, they carried the materials that would have been the Chico Dam back to a military camp 28 kilometers away.
Then we yearn to, you see, the yearning to come together, solidarity with others, and strengthening consolidating our organization. It has to be in one place. While it is expensive, we solicit to do it, we contribute to do it, but it must be done.
Every Cordillera Day is just like that. A challenge to courage, a labor of love in dangerous times.
Every year, sometimes they would be volunteer. Let us have it in our place, they would say. But why we would have it in the place? Because we have people's organization there to make the committees and welcome us.
Every Cordillera Day is a struggle for the right to live and develop as indigenous peoples decide.
There were times that we would think, where can we have it? We would, how about that? Then we would argue, we would debate. Sometimes we would make assessment and we do challenge. How about there? How about there? Ultimately, the people there would either say, yes, we can have it here, or they will say, not yet. We would support and we would, until the time that we can have it, then we have it. So you see, assessment after assessment, challenge after challenge.
At the height of the Chico Dam and Sellafield struggles, indigenous systems where people traditionally gather became circles where they could meet and talk. True to these lessons, the Cordillera Days took the form of a big circle for stories, situationers, and news.
Of course, each Cordillera Day would have its theme, year by year, since the beginning. Sometimes it incorporates the issue of the time. We have a lot of issues, but the burning issue of the time, that would be mentioned in the theme.
In 1985, Cordillera Day was celebrated in Belwang, Sadanga Mountain Province. The cry was apparent. The Cordillera Umili was one with the rest of Filipinos in struggling against the Marcos dictatorship. Right there, where they were strongest and where they held the most stake, in their ancestral domain. It was also in the 1985 Cordillera Day when Leon Alejandro, Secretary General of the Bagong Alyansang Makabayan, danced and completed our circle. 2 years later, he was killed by the military. His was a fight necessary and dear to the indigenous people's struggles. Amid the state's attempt to redefine itself after EDSA, Cordillera Day was held in Bontoc Mountain Province on April 24, 1986. While the call was urgent, it was also a time for reflection. With most CPA member organizations present and affirmed by strong support from the Umili, Cordillera Days were, after all, for
reaffirming our direction of struggle.
We take stock of our situation so that we will be clear about the direction of our efforts, especially during these years.
That was one special thing in the observance. I think as far as participation from outside the Philippines, 1987 would have it because there was an international solidarity conference in Baguio where a lot of foreigners came.
Cordillera Days are fruits of solidarity. It is here where friendships, ties, and kinships are renewed and strengthened. It is here where the circle of hope is revived. Among Cordillera peoples, other indigenous peoples, advocates of indigenous peoples' rights, support groups, and the international community, and an occasional government official.
Personally, it was a dark year. That was the time after Ngayaan was murdered by CPLA under Conrado Balweg. Our elders sat down and then they did what we would do in our indigenous justice system. Then the tribunal declared them as criminals. The theme was expose and oppose the U.S. Aquino regime's total war policy in the Cordillera. It was in Baguio City, St. Vincent Parish. We burned the effigy of Cory Aquino and Conrado Balweg at that observation, 1988. Total war policy, the killing of some of us. We did the tribunal judgment.
The 1989 Cordillera Day was held in Cayenne, Tadian Mountain Province. As usual, the military was waiting. Buses were searched without warrants, and participants were made to go down and sign their names on the military log. But even the fact that they were all-time favorites did not dampen the spirits of the celebration.
We are informed that since 1989, the workers in Hong Kong had been observing Cordillera Day. So they would have a decade, 10 years observance of Cordillera in Hong Kong, outside the Cordillera. Interesting and good.
Cordy Day in Conner, Apayao was hosted by an umili that was so well organized that everything from the stage to the bamboo beds involved the participation of everyone, including its own local government. The umili had to set the record straight. The movement for genuine autonomy was not dead. And the 1990 Cordillera Day clamored for it and lived it.
Living out. It is a challenge really for our people to live out, and then the time should come that the whole Cordillera be strong autonomous. In corner like that, we observed that it was being lived out. An ideal kind of community. It is everybody's business. Cordillera was everybody's business.
Macleing Dulag and other pangats revitalized the indigenous Bodong, not only to forge peace, but to unite themselves against a common enemy.
This song is a piece of advice to the young generation.
From the umili too came their response. Donglalas, salidumais, elalays that sang and danced from the barrios to the streets. Cordillera Days have since become among the venues for cultural pride and renewal.
You see, our cultural have eroded enough. We have chance to wear our own costumes, bring out our own cultural objects, and produce our own cultural drinks, like that. So we want to renew and improve our culture, even if we have to improve from inside, not dictated from outside. So we do that every Cordillera Day. There's always cultural night, where we say our chant, we dance our dance, sing our music, we wear our costume.
In the 1991 celebration in Kadadanan, Tadian Mountain Province, this culture was recognized as part and parcel of survival.
We are people's organizations, non-government organizations from Baguio City, from Benguet, from the different provinces of the Cordillera, including places outside of the Cordillera. We celebrated the Cordillera Day in Keystone, Ukag, Itogon, Benguet, the site of the open pit mining operations and bulk mining operations of the Benguet Corporation. We have celebrated Cordillera Day in the spirit it has been celebrated 10 years ago when our elder, our forefather Macleing Dulag, died because of the struggle of Chicotang.
o kaaway ng araw. Ngunit kami hindi susuko at hanggang sa huling tibok sa aming mga ugat, kami makikibaka.
The call for defense was timely indeed in 1992, particularly when attacks were coming in from all fronts.
There was another Cordillera Day in Burnham Park, government Cordillera Day yan. And we heard that there was another one in Tabok, that is Conrado, Balwag's Cordillera Day. So there were years in the past where we heard about Cordillera Day other than our Cordillera Day being observed in other places.
It is indeed ironic that these groups would dare co-opt our struggles and our celebration. The previous Cordillera Day celebrations must have to do something positive. We challenge this, especially Conrado Balweg, the Cordillera People's Liberation Army. How dare he celebrate a Cordillera Day celebration when in fact it is for his group that many of our people have died and we now have to commemorate their death.
A celebration of life. In the soul of every Cordillera Day is a bugnas de biag. That amid militarization, government neglect, environmental exploitation, and cultural breakdown, indigenous peoples have and are surviving with all they've got. 1993 participants to Cordillera Day in Fidelisan, Sagada, gave an all-out declaration to life.
Yan si Cordillera!
1993 was for life, and it was fitting that 1994 was a celebration of a decade of struggle.
To the 10th year of CPA, we come home to Mangkayan. Mangkayan is significant because it signifies the continuing struggle that we have to launch. If we look around us, we see the beauty of Mangkayan, yet at the same time, we see the degradation.
For the People's Alliance began the alliance in 1984, June 1984. We did not begin the struggle. The struggle was begun by our foreparents, but not as one alliance group. The Abra people, the Ifugao, the Benguet, especially Benguet, its province would have done their struggle against intruders. And in 1984, the alliance of, you would have the women group, the farmers, the students, various kinds of sectors who would have their own problem. So together we began having the first assembly of the Cordillera People's Alliance out of only 27 organizations all over. It became more than 100 up to this time. That's the Cordillera People's Alliance, and the struggle is for the defense of land and self-determination.
Cordillera Day 1995 was a season for reflection. Celebrations were internal and decentralized. In Liglig, Tanglag, Kalinga. In Ikat, Lagawe, Ifugao. In Gakab, Malibkong, Abra. In MPGHS, Bontoc, Mountain Province. In Lions Park, Baguio City. And in SATS, Quezon City.
It becomes a time, year by year, to make assessment and say, how are you getting along in your province? How are you? Are you getting weak? Are you getting strong? And we consolidate our organizations by that. Each time we meet, we become all the more stronger.
In 1996, the Philippines celebrated its 100 years of independence after the first revolutionary government was set up by the Katipunan. Cordillera Day in Tapao, Quirino Hill in Baguio City called for extra vigilance, a reserve of strength and courage. More courage. The struggle, after all, is not over.
We shall rely on our strength to organize. We shall continue the struggle.
The anti-Chico Dam struggle was essentially a struggle for self-determination and for the defense of land. And in 1997, Cordillera Day, almost 20 years after Chico was won, ironically found itself faced with another dam.
Up to now, there is no Chico Dam. A successful struggle that our people won. Is it the first or one of the few successful struggle against World Bank and IMF? That's why this time San Luque Dam is hot issue. I hope our people have not become weaker, that we have become stronger.
Because strength, a united and strong people, is necessary to confront the modern-day fashion that imperialism dressed itself in. That is globalization.
Let us read the issues of the time, regardless of who you are. Are you a nurse, a soldier, attorney? You are either for our people or against our people, depending on how you see issues and what to support and what not to support.
Humility Cordillera.
In 1998, the Umili gathered in Kili Tumo Abra, geared up to struggle even for 100 years more, especially if it means that one day they will not wake up abruptly to a still, foggy night when so many of their own are again killed, their land drowned in waters said to give light.
I would want to be consistent with the defense of our land and resources and aspiration for self-determination. Let us solidify some more and cooperate some more so that we will have done our part best for our people. Come on our Cordillera Day and continue strengthening one another. Let us do that.